I might be getting catfish right now. I might be getting catch me if you can right now, okay? There is so much stuff that has been happening here that I've been trying to get to the bottom of, and I need you guys to know about it. So here's what's going on. I think I found the most mysterious fashion brand in the world. When I think of mystery within the luxury scene, I'm thinking of brands like Chrome Hearts, Enfant Riche Déprimé, maybe Saint Michael or even Satoshi Nakamoto. Some of the Japanese archive brands like If 6 Was 9 I find to be quite mysterious. But all of these, to one degree or another, are open to the public, and the brand we're going to talk about today is also open to the public, but not like the really good part of the brand, if that makes sense. As one of these luxury fashion brands, it is incredibly valuable to build up an air of mystery around your offerings, your brand, the ethos, the mythology. But you have to turn that dial really carefully, because if you go too mysterious, you risk turning people off or becoming so invisible that you don't even get noticed in the first place. For example, I have always said that there are multiple versions of the brand Chrome Hearts, right? There's like the ready-to-wear, off-the-rack clothing, t-shirts, hoodies, trucker caps, which I think are kind of ass. Like, they're there to be sold to the Saudis as they visit Miami, you know what I mean? But then there are other sections of the brand, such as their leather, their sterling silver and other jewelry, even their eyewear, and all of these are much more legit than the off-the-rack clothing. But there is a level to Chrome Hearts even beyond any of that, the mysterious side, the secret side, the exclusive side that we haven't ever talked about on the channel. And that is the special order side of the brand. Now, if you follow any of the big consignment sites like Justin Reed or 4G, or even if you just follow like archival fashion pages and things like this, you will have seen some crazy Chrome Hearts stuff out there. Like, hey, do you want sterling silver Chrome Hearts dumbbells? Or do you want like a wooden chair that's like an iron cross, you know? These are not things that Chrome Hearts just sticks in their stores for anyone to buy. No, they're made because special clients go to Chrome Hearts and say, hey, I've got a really cool idea for an item. I want a Chrome Hearts version of it. Please help me. And that is so sick. Some of the sickest Chrome Hearts pieces, probably the sickest Chrome Hearts pieces, are these special order items. But here's the problem. If you are watching this video, I can essentially guarantee you will never get a special order Chrome Hearts item, at least not from Chrome Hearts directly. Sure, maybe if you want to spend 10 grand, you can get one from Justin Reed, but you cannot go into a Chrome Hearts store and say, hey, will you make me this goblet, but Chrome Hearts, please? No. They'll laugh you out of the building because their special orders are only for VIPs, VICs, very important clients, like celebrities, athletes, billionaires, socialites, influencers. These are the people that may have a chance of getting a special order Chrome Hearts piece, and you're not one of those, I can almost guarantee it. Now, other brands, they deal with mystery and exclusivity a little bit differently. For instance, Hermes, they'll sell pretty much anybody any of their pieces, but you have to build up enough social capital within the brand to be able to get that stuff. Like, if you want a Birkin bag, you can probably get one, but you're gonna have to go there many times and buy many other things first. But eventually, if you have the money, you can work your way up to getting that Birkin. Enfant Riche Déprimé, they have an air of mystery on them, but it is around the price, the absurd prices of some of their stuff, the limited amounts of each piece that they make, just the entire outlook of the brand, how off-putting it is. It just creates a sense of mystery, even though their stuff is fairly easy to get your hands on if you have the money. And then you've got brands like the aforementioned Satoshi Nakamoto, where mystery is really just an affect that they're putting on in order to build the brand identity and make it seem cooler than it probably is. So who do you turn to if you want a crazy piece like this from a brand with an interesting history and mythology? Well, for the longest time, I would have told you probably nowhere. But here, my friends, I'm so excited, is where I introduce you to the answer, the salvation to the mystery problem in fashion, and also the weirdest, most confusing, most mind-bending brand that I've ever covered. A couple months ago, I got a message from just a random, no-name Instagram account saying, "Hey, I run a brand, I love your stuff." I get messages like this pretty often and I say thank you, ask them to show me their stuff, but usually I end it there because the vast majority of these small brands are like not quite ready for prime time yet. They still need some time in the oven before they're probably ready to be on the world stage in a YouTube video of low luxuries. I don't think I'm that important, don't worry. But really, I only want to cover stuff that I think will be worth it for you guys, the audience. But like I said, I'm always willing to hear these people out. So he reached out to me. The guy's name is Danny. I didn't know that at the time, but he said he has this brand, RPCC. Now, what is that? It's actually Ratpacc. The brand is called Ratpacc. And this simple, innocent message started in on a process that I don't think I have ever fully gotten to the bottom of, even at this point as I speak to you today. Because I started looking into the brand and I realized this thing has so many layers that I don't even know where to begin. So there is the top layer, the public layer of Ratpacc, okay? They make ready-to-wear pieces for the most part, you know, t-shirts, hoodies, pants, all this stuff, with a kind of, I don't know, they're like a cross between Vetements, ERD, and Chrome Hearts, I would say. And that's great, that's really cool, but it turns out the core of the brand, there's an underlying element to the entire brand that is entirely private. It is locked down, it is mysterious, and it is exclusive, and it is confusing. So here's the deal. There's the public brand, and then there's, I think they call it core, and that is a private, custom, special request, limited drop thing where they have an insane system worked out to make this all work. So in like every city, as far as I gather, maybe something like that, they have a very important customer, the most important customer in that area. And I guess they make that person a key holder. Okay, you with me? Follow with me. So there's a very important customer of Ratpacc. That person becomes the key holder. And then anybody who wants this super secret Ratpacc stuff has to go through the key holder to get their hands on it. And they have to prove their worth, their loyalty, their respect for the brand in doing so. Because if this person, this customer, decides, hey, I'm gonna talk trash on Ratpacc, I'm gonna try and sell my pieces on the secondhand market, anything like that, the key holder and Ratpacc cut them off. They're gone. And through this, they are seemingly building a small but loyal fan base of customers. From what Danny, the founder, tells me, is that he built this brand from nothing, and then he seeded it, got it going with some kind of like trust fund brat type of people that he had an in with. And from there, it just started spreading throughout the globe and gaining a little bit of traction to the point where the brand actually has 3 studios around the world. And you've probably never heard of this brand, but they have studios in LA, Paris, and Bucharest. That's crazy. And to my mind, this is where the brand gets incredibly interesting because at this special order, private level, they're making really interesting items like engraved industrial cocaine trays and ashtrays that look like a clitoris, for example. I just saw they were making surfboards. Danny was telling me he has plans to make a butt plug out of sterling silver and white gold. I love this stuff. I go crazy for it. I think it's so fun and interesting and cool. And I love that there are creative people out there doing what they love to do and doing weird stuff and in-your-face stuff and secret stuff and expensive stuff. I'm all about it. Now I'm gonna head you off right at the pass here. You could say, isn't that just what Chrome Hearts does? And my answer to you would be kind of yes. I do think the concept is derivative of Chrome Hearts, but I don't know that that's an insult because Chrome Hearts is like one of the best of the best. There's a reason that Karl Lagerfeld, the Chanel designer, exclusively wore Chrome Hearts. They've built their brand in the perfect way. So if you're gonna copy somebody, might as well be Chrome Hearts. And I don't think there's anybody doing it in quite this way. So remember how earlier I said you would never own a special order Chrome Hearts piece? You conceivably could order a custom Ratpacc piece. Like I was telling him, hey, if you ever wanna make me a sterling silver drum key, because I play the drums, that'd be great. And there's actually a chance that maybe that could happen someday. I would believe that, you know what I mean? But here's where things get a bit more complex, because I want to be real with you. I don't know how real any of this is. Does Ratpacc really have 3 studios around the world? Does Ratpacc really have a loyal customer base buying this stuff for quite large sums of money? Does Ratpacc pull off this crazy private key holder business model? The answer to all those questions is, I don't know. The first inkling I got that maybe I might be getting catfished was that I was messaging the main brand account, and I was talking to them, I was asking them some questions, and they were like, hey, we really aren't the right people to answer this. You should talk to Danny. He knows this stuff. And then I talked to Danny, and he called them cunt, okay? And then later in a message, the other people that initially messaged me also called Danny a cunt. So I kind of got the vibe that maybe this was all a single person talking to me, pretending to be multiple people, but also maybe they just really like calling each other cunts, you know? And here's some other things that I guess just make me think, you know what I mean? If you go to their Instagram, they have about 1,200 followers, and that is like 4 times as many as I have. But if you go to some of their posts, the engagement is like non-existent. So a post from 2019 about the Coke tray, one of their like marquee items, has 31 likes and no comments. Again, on my account, when I post something with a much smaller following, I get 2-3 times as many likes as that and many comments, you know? It's just a bit weird. And I'll show more on screen here as we go. It's just the engagement level is a bit low for a brand that is supposedly able to self-sustain with business from many customers, you know? And then there is the communication style. And this, again, if they're faking it, goes into the category of like so audacious as to be impressive. For instance, the brand is like pretty aggressive and douchey towards its customers in their stories. Like, I'll read you one here. To keep your spot in RPCC core, you have to be present every season, every drop. If you miss 2 releases, you will be taken off the list. Even brands with like 10 times, 100 times the size as Ratpacc would have trouble keeping a customer base with a business model like that. It's just, it's hard to imagine. That's all I'm saying. And another common method of Ratpacc is to like post private texts as stories. And like, again, I don't know if these people are real. I'll be honest, it feels more like a marketing message in a way than a real customer review or customer feedback, you know? So I'll leave it at that. I definitely do not have any interest in beating up on this brand. But the thing is, if this is all just Danny doing a fake it till you make it scheme, I think that's just as interesting as if the brand was real and really had this entire situation built up here, right? Because if he is doing that, he's doing it with like Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo DiCaprio levels of crazy catfish commitment. Like, that would just show an insane level of dedication to trying to get your brand off the ground, and I would respect that. So whether the brand really exists in the state that they're purporting to, or whether they are faking it till they make it to that point, either way, I'm kind of on board and I kind of like it, but I don't want to say that with too much confidence yet because we've got some pieces to look at. That's right, Ratpacc, they sent me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces here. We have got 3 t-shirts, a pair of pants, and some sort of accessory that is in this box. And I'm so excited to check all of this out because this will give us a much better idea of whether the brand is actually real to the degree that they say they are, or if they are putting it on in an attempt to get to the point that they're pretending to be at. So this is gonna be crazy. I'm super excited. Let's check this stuff out. If you made it this far, that means you should definitely be joining my Patreon, get private Discord access for private sales of things featured on the channel, take part in great discussions, get exclusive videos on crazy deals. You can also get shouted out right here, like for instance, thank you to Henry, Ollie, Repost, Flood for joining. What are you waiting for? Links in the description. Okay, we've got 5 pieces here. I'm so excited to check these out. Let's start at the simplest level and look at the t-shirts, which are these 3 pieces here. Let's just get them all hung up together and see what we're working with. Okay, so we have got 3 t-shirts here, 3 slightly different vibes, but I can definitely already see the kind of brand identity going on here, especially knowing that they make these cocaine trays, stuff like this. It's definitely kind of a sleazy, scuzzy, LA, Hollywood, coke addict type of vibe, and I'm down for that vibe, you know? Definitely right away, I'm feeling a significant amount of Vetements and ERD. Like, it feels like the perfect halfway point between those 2 brands if I had to put a name to it, you know? But from the left, we have got the Chateau Marmont right here. I could definitely see actually Pally doing a graphic like this. It has the Hollywood vibe, you know? The middle one, GHB, in a more kind of like Y2K or industrial logo type of thing. This is definitely where I'm getting the most Vetements vibes. And then finally right here we have got the Fatal Attraction tee. No depth, just filth. It's a little barcode at the bottom. That's kind of like their logo, the barcode, which is cool. And I really like that we get 3 different styles here. It looks like they're all the same basic silhouette, but you've got like a pure new black right here, a pure bleached white here, and then a more washed black here. I think my favorite of the 3 of these in terms of the color and wear is this one because it feels much more like natural to me. Whereas the references and point of view, yeah, it just gives me like street punk kind of party boy vibes. I'm into it. Now, I'm most curious about the details, like did they make these in-house? Where did they come from? What are they made of, you know? So at the back of the neck, you get a printed barcode here. Again, that's pretty much their logo. I will say this screened neck, it reminds me of like, I don't know, flipping through the racks of skate brand t-shirts at Zoomies. So to me, a screened neck feels like a $20 t-shirt or something. So my first, I don't know, pointer to them, I think they should do brand tags, like woven brand tags sewn in. It just feels more high-end, more premium, you know? But we do get a size tag off to the side of that. They sent me smalls. Thank you for that. That should be perfect. And let's see if we have any care tags in here. Okay, they've got woven care tags. So this is exactly the type of thing I'd like to see at the neck if they could do it. So we've got another size tag here. And then these are actually made of 100% organic cotton. And that explains why they're kind of like on the thicker side. It's almost a little bit canvasy. You can see the ribbing of the weave right there. I like it. That's nice. It's got a really nice feel to it, I will say. And to me, the made in Portugal tells me that these are made by a production partner, because I don't think they have a studio in Portugal. So I'm assuming they are outsourcing the t-shirt production to, you know, a luxury production partner, the same type of factories that make stuff for Vetements, Balenciaga, back in the day, you know, the Off-Whites and Heron Prestons of the world, that stuff. It was all done in Portugal. It's kind of like a step up from made in China or Vietnam or Bangladesh, but maybe one step down from being made in Italy or France. And it looks like that is the case for all of these, although this one gets matching black tags, which I think is a very nice touch, that they, even with the care tags, take the time to kind of match it up. Like this one has the black as well. By the way, just so you know, this one, the Chateau Marmont t-shirt, is tagged as sample, which is, again, a nice touch. I love that they added the sample in there. It shows, like, I don't know, a consideration, which I appreciate. And while the silhouette of all these is essentially the same, I will note that the left 2 are hemmed normally. Come on, focus up. There you go. Whereas the Fatal Attraction tee has a raw hem, which I also like. Now, on a graphical level, this one is my favorite right here. GHB, it's simple, but I like the point of view. And Fatal Attraction, this is one that they've promoted a lot. I've seen them on social media posting this one a lot. It seems to be doing well for them. And I think it's cool. I think this one reads the most as like ERD. But obviously ERD is like my favorite brand, so I'm not going to be mad about this. And by the way, another W in the Chateaus column is that it's the only one with any backprint to it. Ratpacc Studios, LA Residency, Danny Spiria. There you go, he's even putting his name on it and stuff. I like it. Give it your own thing. Like there's a, what is it, a gallery department? The Josue guy, I forget his full name, but he puts his name everywhere. Why not? Take some ownership. I love that. All right, let's take a little halftime break, and see what's in this box right here. I'm very curious. It's actually a really nice box. It's the same type of material I feel like that Balenciaga does with their boxes, this kind of like textured cardboard. And then in silver, debossed in there is the barcode numbers, I believe, and then the locations. Now inside of this bad boy, we have got, it looks like a card holder. All right, I love it. I love it. Let's get this thing out. Very cool. So this appears to be a black leather card holder, double-sided. Very nice, very clean. Okay, all right. And printed on the front in white, behind it you've got "fuck it," and printed on top of that in red, "it's all fake anyways." True. You know what this reminds me of? Those Gucci bags that just said "fake" on them. I always actually really like those. So this is kind of like in good company here. And then printed at the back, you've got the barcode logo as well. So this is a very clean, versatile piece. I'll try it out. I'll try it out for a bit and I'll let you know how it goes. This was a cool one to throw in. I love a little accessory moment. And the final piece right here, I'm very curious to check out because right away I noticed through the plastic here that says Dickies. Dickies is not Ratpacc. So did I just get sent a pair of Dickies? Let's find out. And they are indeed a pair of Dickies 874s, straight up. And let me just tell you up front here, I am not mad about this. I'm not going to criticize them for this because I think actually a lot of my favorite designers do the exact same thing. For instance, my favorite jeans by Kutlovin Atelier, he just uses Levi's as the base for those and then modifies them. I'm working with the Japanese designer Shohei Takamiya right now, and he's making me some incredible pants, again, that use Levi's 511s as the base. We saw in a recent video that Alexander DiGenova uses Alpha Industries bombers as the base for his headline marquee flagship bombers. So I feel like if somebody such as Dickies is doing what you want to do at the best level, then just use that. If you feel like the Dickies 874s are built perfectly for what you want to do, if they reference a certain type of like LA or California Americana, that makes perfect sense to me. But there was one thing that really worried me when I first opened these up, and that is that this says 32 by 30. My waist is way smaller than a 32. 32s would be huge on me, but this really blew my mind, okay? Danny, I believe, watched my videos, figured out what fit he thought would work best for me based on the videos, past things I've worn, and he, by himself, by hand, he tailored these pants to fit me as well as possible. So I'm curious to see how he did there. I want to know what kind of fit he decided to go with here. But I think that's sick. The fact that he tailored these for me is just incredible. All right, so now that the fit's out of the way, let's see what we got actually going on here design-wise. So they are a pair of black 874s by Dickies. So they're just like a really nice twill work pant. Pleated, of course, it's just clean. So at the front, we do get a graphic here. Let's take a look at this. So this is a very like punk X-ray layered striking image here. We've got, again, the branding numbers in the good, the bad, the ugly. This feels like a pretty original graphic to me. I would be happy to use a graphic like this for one of my band's projects. It has like a punk band vibe to me. I think this is a really great graphic. In fact, I would say that this one is my favorite of all the graphics we've seen today. And then at the back, we get a series of barcodes getting like increasingly distorted. And I think Balenciaga has done something fairly similar, but I like the clear degradation going on here. I think it shows a, I don't know, conceptual commitment to something that feels ahead of any of the other pieces to me. So even though you might say, hey, this is just a pair of Dickies, I think this might be my favorite piece of all of them. And look at this bad boy next to that bad boy. That fits. This is a brand that has a clear point of view, okay? Even if you think they've still got some stuff to figure out, which I'd probably agree with you on, I think they've got something here. So honestly, I was thinking, and what this really reminds me of more than anything is like early Virgil Abloh. Like early on, he was doing Pyrex Visions, which was like a streetwear company, and the pieces themselves were nothing like that special in the grand scheme of things. Just like I wouldn't say these are like blowing my mind in any particular way. But what Pyrex Visions did was show Virgil Abloh's just raw ambition in what he was doing that he then turned into Off-White, and people forget now, but Off-White was so innovative, so interesting, so important in the history of fashion, so that is not an insult whatsoever. And while I would say that these t-shirts are kind of Ratpacc's Pyrex visions, like the early kind of simple trying it out type of stuff, I would say their off-catalog custom order stuff is that next level up. So I think really they should focus in on that because that's the much more interesting side. Although, as Rick Owens has always said, you need to sell a certain amount of t-shirts and hoodies to afford the really cool, interesting stuff, which I also understand. And I do legitimately like these t-shirts. I don't plan on getting rid of any of these. Every single one of these fits really well into my closet and my aesthetic. But if they're looking for some advice, I've got a couple big pieces of advice that I think if they wanted, they could use to level up their t-shirts here. First off, I said it before and I'll say it again, get just like a more luxurious type of neck tag. It'll just make everything look better. I know it's kind of a dumb thing, but it just feels more high-end to have a woven neck tag. Next up, getting a little bit like inside baseball, but I think that the print quality could be improved. It looks to me like they're screen printing, which is my preferred method of t-shirt print, so that's great. But it has a little bit of like a fuzziness or kind of blurriness to it, and I'm guessing that is by like micro movements happening on the place where they're doing the screen printing. So maybe just leveling up that screen printing apparatus to keep the pieces or the screen in place better would help sharpen up the print here. I really like the cuts. I like the fabrications. Everything seems made well. I just tend to prefer stuff that's made in studio as opposed to in factory. But if you're trying to scale and be a big brand, you're going to have to work with factories eventually. And these ones, honestly, they remind me so much of like Balenciaga and Vetements, who also make their t-shirts in Portugal, that it makes me curious if Ratpacc is literally using the same factory that they do, because the similarities are striking both in the cuts, the fabrications, and the necklines, which you'll see in a second here. And then I know I said it earlier, but my final piece of advice is just really focus in on those brand differentiators, like the sterling silver, the leather, stuff like that, because that is what sets you apart and makes people really fall in love with your brand, I would say. This is so interesting. I love this stuff. I respect them. They're hustling. They're putting stuff together. These are real designer items, interesting stuff, but we need to know like how it feels, how it fits. Does it hold up against the other premium and luxury brands that they're competing with? Let's see. So we have got almost a full fit here. We have 3 t-shirts, both black, faded black, and white. So we need something that works with all of those. And we have the black Dickies pants. So we don't need all that much else to fill out a fit here, but I just want to have some fun. For the outerwear, I think something that will work really well with these is the Alexander DiGenova thrashed layered bomber jacket here. That's going to be insane. And then the only other thing we need is a pair of shoes. And I want to just like class up the joint a little bit. So I'm going to go with the Balenciaga badge-toed boots here in patent leather. That's going to be so nice. Let's see what happens. Okay, I have got to say, I am so curious to try these on. Like, is it all a put-on? Have I been catfished? Is someone playing a grand joke on me? I really do feel like putting the clothes on themselves will help tell me this, because once you put on clothes, you can really get a vibe on if they're for real or not, if they're genuine or not. So let's find out. We get to start off right away with putting on one of these Ratpacc pieces because we have got the printed Dickies here. And putting them on, the fit's insane. I've got to say, I am just so impressed. Is impressed the right word? I don't know. Flattered that Ratpacc, they took the time to, I'm guessing, watch my videos, see what sizes the pants I wear are, and also just look at how things fit on me and tailor them in a way that really fits me. Like, you can tell that they put some thought and effort into making these work for me, which, like I said, is so flattering. I really dig these. It's just a classic piece. Little cuffed ankles, you know, straight leg fit, and then you put it over the top with these prints. I really love the print at the front. I actually think that's fantastic. It's my favorite part of any of these pieces, honestly, I would say. And then at the back, the stacked barcodes, they just add a little bit of intrigue. It's just not a spot that you expect to see prints on any pants, let alone a pair of kind of like canvas pleated dressier pants. So I really vibe these. Your mileage may vary on whether you think it is sufficiently, I don't know, creative or elevated to do screen prints on a pair of Dickies. I'll totally leave that up to you. But purely as a pair of pants that I'm wearing out and about in my life, I would wear these, no question. All right, let's keep it moving. We will throw on the boots. I love these Balenciaga boots. They work with so many things. I don't think they're like made particularly well, the materials and stuff, but the look you cannot argue with. And they instantly elevate these pants as well. But I gotta get to these t-shirts. I gotta understand what makes these tick. We'll start with the darkest one, the Fatal Attraction tee, which is a very like pure black. And all right, I'm vibing. First, let's throw on the Enfant Riche Déprimé safety pin necklace. Okay, all right, I fuck with it. You saw that these were made of, I believe it's organic cotton in Portugal, and the cut on these is very intentional. You can tell they've put thought into this because it doesn't fit like a normal small t-shirt. You can see that the shoulders are incredibly dropped. It's fairly long, but it's got the hem cut off, so it actually falls like a little bit higher than you might expect, which I'm down with. And I would also say the neck is a little bit higher and a little bit tighter than what you would normally see in a standard t-shirt. It's also quite heavy too in the fabric, but really soft. I'm used to organic cotton being like, I don't know, a little bit stiff and uncomfortable even. That's been my experience, so I'm pleasantly surprised by this fabric here. I think the design, it looks good. It fits really well into my aesthetic and goes well with these pants, even though the t-shirt's a little bit darker than those. But I'd like to see how it layers as well, and move right along to the Alexander DeGenova China Chalet Bomber Jacket. This is like a staple piece from Alexander DeGenova, probably one of the best pieces he's ever made, in my opinion. I love the red hood on this, the super faded, wash, thrash stuff, Skid Row thing going on. And I think it works perfectly with this Ratpacc piece. Everything is like in harmony, it's playing together well, and I think that's a positive mark in the brand's favor, that it doesn't look like this is me just throwing on a t-shirt from some little random brand that decided to send me some stuff. It looks like it fits into my vibe, and that's like, that's not half the battle, that's like almost the whole battle, you know what I mean? But I want to see the other pieces, because this isn't the only t-shirt. Let's throw on the GHB t-shirt, which is, I would say, the most like Vetements type vibe piece of all of them, especially with the kind of industrial type of font. And trying it on, I love a good white t-shirt, I really do. And suddenly, the silhouette pops a lot more when you can see it in this striking, bright, bleached white, you know what I mean? The placement of the print is perfect. I think that's an underrated thing. And also important to note, this one falls a bit longer because it does still have the hem. All right, let's throw on this jacket, and suddenly you're getting a bit more like contrast here going on. The bomber is a bit shorter than the shirt itself, so maybe if you tuck the shirt in or something, it would work better, but I think this piece, I actually like it a lot more than I even thought I would. But if I were to put together a fit just for this t-shirt, I would probably try a different piece of outerwear, because I think it works great with the pants and the boots, but for some reason less so with the bomber. All right, the final piece here, my favorite of the t-shirts that they sent, is the Chateau Marmont t-shirt here. And this one I'm super pleased with. They must have enzyme washed it or something to give it this fade, and it's much lighter in the fabric. You can feel the difference. Like, it definitely, in the washing process, shed some of its weight, which is not a bad thing at all. And I think the treatment also made it ever so slightly smaller than the other pieces. But I think that's a good thing. I think the character is worth the differences, and I think I actually prefer it being lighter on the weight side as well. I think this is the best print of the bunch. I love that it has elements on the back as well. That's really nice. And I think this one goes really, really well with the pants. Like, they very much feel like they're of a piece here, and I can see the brand identity through these. And when you put on the bomber as well, again, it's all working, I'm vibing, I really like how this is all coming together. So at the end of the day, did I get Catch Me If You Can? I may never know. Danny from Ratpacc, if you're watching this, I'm sure you will at some point, hit me up. It would be awesome to meet in person and chat or something next time you're in like New York. We'll grab a coffee. Because I just want to understand more about this brand. I want to believe, you know what I mean? But even if it is a fantasy to believe in, it's kind of a beautiful fantasy. It's a beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy that Ratpacc is spinning here. But then on the flip side, maybe it's all real. You know what I mean? Maybe they are really building something that people are responding to in a special way, in a unique way. And if that's the case, goddamn, more power to you. All right, that's the video. This is a really fun one. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below. Do you think Ratpacc is legit? Do you think they're cool? Do you think they're interesting? Do you like what they're doing? Or do you think something different? Like, subscribe, comment, do all these engagement-y things that help me in the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you next time.